Leo Vance sat in his small, damp apartment in the Queen Anne neighborhood of Seattle, the dim light of an October afternoon casting shadows across his computer screen. His fingers scrolled restlessly on Instagram, but his eyes were fixated on a single post. It was Mark Ellison, Leo's former rival from their college days at the Rhode Island School of Design. Mark's latest photo was of a beaming smile, standing in the middle of a sleek art gallery in Soho, New York, behind a sign that read, "Mark Ellison, Solo Exhibition." The caption was a thank you to Forbes for their article, "Under 30, Designer Reshaping Urban Architecture." Leo sighed heavily. He was a talented graphic designer, but 5 years after graduation, he was still freelancing for minor projects, sometimes designing menus for local coffee shops just to make rent. He clearly remembered the sleepless nights with Mark, both of them dreaming of major studios and recognized works. But now, while Mark was touching the stars, Leo felt he was still waiting in the mud. Why can't I be like Mark? This question was a monster whispering in Leo's mind, devouring his confidence and motivation. He compared their income, their follower counts, and the quality of life showcased in Mark's luxurious travel photos. With every comparison, the creativity within Leo was choked a little more, turning initial admiration into envy and paralysis. This stagnation lasted for months. Leo could barely complete a project without stopping to ask himself, would Mark do this better? Is this New York standard material? One rainy evening, Leo called home to chat with his grandmother, Alice, who lived on a quiet farm in Vermont. Alice, a retired art teacher, was always the one who understood his feelings best. "You saw Mark Ellison again, didn't you?" Alice asked softly, sensing the weariness in Leo's voice. Leo sighed. "Yes, Grandma. He was just invited to redesign a museum in Chicago. I feel like a total failure." Alice paused, only the gentle sound of the rain tapping through the phone line. "Leo, my dear, I'm going to tell you a story about two farmers. Both grew apples. The first farmer, John, always watched his neighbor, Tom's orchard. He counted Tom's fruits, comparing their size and color. He complained about why Tom's apples were always bigger, always redder. He spent all his time looking over the fence instead of looking down at his own soil." "And what about Tom, Grandma?" Leo asked. Tom never looked at John's garden. Every morning, Tom did one thing. He went out to his orchard and checked if his apple trees were better today than they were yesterday. He checked if he could add a little more water, prune a small branch, or learn a new technique to make his soil more fertile. He didn't need to know what John's apples looked like, because his goal was to grow the best apple Tom could possibly grow. Alice paused, her voice becoming warm and firm. You are John, Leo. You are wasting your own light, shining it on someone else's life. You need to become Tom. The only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday." This advice felt like an electric current running through Leo. It wasn't new, but in that moment, it carried the weight of truth. Leo realized he couldn't control Mark's fame, Mark's background, or Mark's luck. He could only control his own actions. The next morning, Leo started changing. The first thing he did was turn off social media notifications and delete the Instagram app from his phone. Instead of opening his computer and immediately checking on Mark's news, he opened a new notebook. He called it the Daily Growth Log. He set 3 small, completely achievable goals for the day. Complete the layout for 3 new icons. Spend 30 minutes learning an advanced feature in 3D software Blender. Meditate for 10 minutes to find peace before starting work. Leo completed all 3. They weren't glorious achievements like museum redesigns, but by the end of the day, when he crossed off the completed goals, a small, genuine sense of satisfaction spread through him. It was better, even if just by a tiny measure, than the Leo of yesterday. In the following weeks, Leo continued this routine. He stopped thinking about greatness and started focusing on progress. Every day, he added a small brick. Learning a new code command, trying a daring color palette, or writing a journal entry about design inspiration. The temptation was still there. Sometimes, when facing difficulty, the thought of Mark and his seemingly easy success would surface. But Leo had learned how to fight back. He he would immediately stand up, take a walk around the neighborhood, and remind himself of Tom and the apple tree. After 6 months, Leo didn't realize how much progress he had made until he stumbled upon an old design draft from a year ago. Comparing that draft to his current Project a Brand Identity kit for a tech startup, the difference was clear. His current design was sharper, deeper, and most importantly, it bore the distinctive signature of Leo, not a subconscious imitation of Mark's style. It wasn't a public, dazzling success, but it was a magnificent, personal victory. The project earned him a steady income and a referral to a bigger client. When he received the congratulatory email from the startup, he smiled a genuine smile, free from compulsion or comparison. Leo realized that when he stopped viewing Mark as his measuring stick, Mark automatically became a distant source of inspiration. Rather than a source of pressure, Mark was walking Mark's path, with his own struggles and triumphs. And Leo was walking Leo's path, and that path was measured by a single, true unit. The distance between Leo today and Leo yesterday. A year later, Leo opened a small design studio, not in glamorous New York, but right in the Queen Anne area. He placed a small apple tree sapling on the windowsill, a gentle reminder. His success was not defined by a magazine cover, but by the quality of his work, the peace in his soul, and the joy he felt looking back at his daily growth log. He had become Tom, the farmer who tended his own garden, and found that, day by day, his apple was ripening in a unique and brilliant way.